So I'm very happy to be here presenting some of the work that I've been doing at Unity. I'm also very happy that Open Minds already kind of gave a bit of a shout out to us. So now you have a sense of Unity as something that you can do compute on a lot of different devices, which is true, but Unity is more than that actually. Unity is or has been in the past, a video game creation engine. It's kind of expanded beyond that now. People are using it to make 3D graphics for films. So the Jungle Book film that came out a couple years ago, the CG in that was done in Unity. It's being used in simulation scenarios for architecture and other kinds of things. But the truth is that it's still ultimately something that is used in a whole lot of games that people play, a lot of mobile games. Games like Super Mario Run and Pokemon Go, Hearthstone are some recent examples that have become very popular. Now what I want to talk about is kind of tangentially related actually to the OpenMind work. So what they had kind of described is using Unity to kind of enable machine learning from the compute side. What I want to talk about is using Unity to enable machine learning from the actual model side. So create models that take advantage of the fact that we have these rich 3D simulated environments. So I just want to start with a quick video. When I joined Unity, we were very interested and excited around a lot of the work that people had been doing using reinforcement learning to learn intelligent behaviors inside simulations. So many of you have probably seen the kind of Atari work that DeepMind had done, where they are able to learn superhuman behaviors using deep-Q networks. So our first thinking was, can we do this within Unity? So I set up a really simple game environment where you kind of, based on the Frogger idea, you have a little character, you want it to move across the screen, you want it to collect packages and avoid trucks. So you give it positive rewards for packages, negative rewards for trucks. You start with a randomized neural network which produces a randomized policy, so random actions. And then using this reinforcement signal, the agent slowly learns how to act more intelligently. So as you can see, when it starts out, it's dumb, it just runs in circles. It's learning from the screen right now in the same way that a human would as well. And it occasionally will run into the presence, which then, of course, give it a positive reward. And using that positive reward, you now have a signal with which to update the weights of the network towards acting in ways that are going to lead the agent to get that reward again and again in the future. So what this ultimately leads to is an agent that's quite good at playing the game in only a few hours of playing entirely by itself, right? So it hit the truck there, but that's the only time you're going to see it hit the truck in this video. And so we were kind of excited by this because without very much forethought, I set this up in maybe a day. Very, very simple reward structure. We're able to get superhuman behavior out, which is very interesting. Yeah, it's fun. But the question is, of course, this is kind of what's already been done. How can we go beyond that and really take advantage of what Unity offers? So a question you might ask is, if that's all we were going to do, how is this different than a lot of the work that people have been already doing in the field? So if you're kind of familiar with the landscape of machine learning, especially reinforcement learning and trying to have agents learn in realistic environments, there are a number of different platforms which you maybe have seen before. There are platforms based on Doom, based on Minecraft, Atari games, physics simulators, even StarCraft. And I would argue that all of these are really great, but none of them by itself really captures the whole picture, right? Because if we as people who are interested in machine learning, interested in AI, interested in ultimately the elusive AGI or whatever you want to call it, we want to be able to have training environments, testing environments that are as complex and nuanced as the real world. So the pre-existing testing ML training environments, I would break down into kind of three categories, at least how I think about them. You have visual complexity, physical complexity, and cognitive complexity. And all three of these are kind of essential to challenging intelligence or getting intelligence, right? So there's visual complexity, which of course humans are very good at. We can look at really, really complex scenes and pick apart any very fine detail, right? And so there are certain class of environments that kind of deal with that. Then there's physical complexity, which is the ability, right, to manipulate our bodies, manipulate arms, fingers in complex ways to accomplish tasks. And so this is, of course, of interest because so much of intelligence is based around our ability to intelligently move our bodies through space. And then when it comes to simulation, there are some great simulation environments for these. The two biggest ones are the Mojoko physics simulator and the PyBullet simulator. They're really wonderful for simulating these bodies. I'm sure many of you have seen the DeepMind video where they train the humanoid to do parkour and jump over platforms and it flails its arms around. That's really, really cool, but the problem is if you notice those environments, they're relatively sparse and the tasks that they're doing are relatively simple, like running forward. Then lastly, there's what I like to think of as cognitive complexity, which is a Go kind of typifies, is the best example of this, where there's no physics, there's no visuals, they're just black and white stones, but it's an extremely cognitively complex game. There's a whole lot of strategy and planning involved.